Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our swearing-in ceremony this morning. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I've removed my mask, but I'm paying attention to social distancing, just so everybody knows. And I have a little X that I need to stand on here to remind me of that. Not that I'm going to pay much attention to it. They'll be pointing to the X multiple times, I'm sure. This is an important day for us as an organization. Obviously, to be able to swear in new officers and do the things that need to be done for our schools, quite remarkable. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you that you see here today for choosing us. These officers, especially in this market, can go anywhere, but instead they choose to work here. I can tell you after about 40 years in this business, and for any of you doing the math, I was 12 when I started. No. After about 40 years in this business, I can tell you that this is probably the most important thing that I've ever done in my life. We have one mission, and one mission only, and that is to protect those children and teachers and staff at all of our schools. And make no mistake about it, what these folks have committed themselves to is that if a catastrophic event were to occur on their campus, that they're going to go down the hall by themselves and take care of that business. And when you think about it, that's a pretty tall order, and that these folks are willing to commit themselves to. So thank you for choosing us. I'm extremely proud of all of you for being a part of our department. So I want to take a minute and just talk to you about how we fit into the team, because as demanding as that job is, when you get to your schools, you're going to be part of a team. Okay? And so initially here, we're part of the operations team. And as I'll tell you a little bit about how this all works, I was reminded yesterday, I think it was Sunday, I was watching the SpaceX launch up to the space station, and it reminded me of our To the Moon and People Back people. And for those that haven't heard me say this before, it's our bus drivers. When you add up all the miles that our bus drivers drive every year, it's something like 13 trips back and forth to the moon. That's quite remarkable, and it gives you an understanding of the scope of the things that we're responsible for. Same thing with our food services people. The pandemic hasn't stopped us. Matter of fact, our food services people are out and have served millions of meals this year. Last time I checked, we were over 6 million meals that our food services people had distributed and served at our schools. And so really quite remarkable. She's not here. I don't think she's, oh, there she is. Wanda Paul is our Chief Operating Officer. She's back in the corner here. I don't know if you could get her on that camera there or not. But it's like a city. And Wanda runs this city every day. And think about this for a minute. When we get back to full strength, we have 197,000 students, 187 schools, 20,000 employees spread out over 2,300 square miles. So every day, this city picks up all these children, brings them to our campuses. We work with our team to keep them safe. We educate them. We feed them. At the end of the day, we go ahead and take them all home. We go home and take a nap, and the next morning we get up and move the city again. And so it's really quite an incredible undertaking. And I have to give Ms. Paul credit, because she does it like it's an everyday occurrence. So thank you for all the work that you do there. And so that's what I wanted to share with you about the importance of the team. Okay? You may be at one school, but you're a part of a much larger team. And if your school is functioning appropriately and you're doing the things that you're doing to keep our students safe, then guess what? All of us are succeeding. So really important for you. I want to thank the training division, all our recruiting teams, our background investigators. We're up now over 170, right? I think we're at 182 new officers over the past 26 months. That's quite remarkable. The department has more than doubled. Now, that wouldn't be possible without the support of our superintendent, who's amazing to work for, the team that helps get all of you here, right down to uniforms and everything else. But more importantly, it wouldn't be possible without the school board. And so I'm going to take a second here to introduce our school board chairman, Mr. Barbieri. By the way, I tell you that we have 180, how many swear in? 180 what? 182 new officers. He's never missed any. He's been here for all of them. And occasionally, I think he's had to sign a check for someone. He's helped pin some badges on. I think he's going to do that again today. And so a huge supporter of the police department. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barbieri.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. So on behalf of the school board, I want to welcome you to the best school district in the United States and probably the best police department. I'm sure it's the best police department in the state of Florida, I'm sure. For those of you that came from other departments, you're here with us now, so I hope you will agree. I share a special bond with all of you because I was a police officer before I went to law school. I should have stayed a police officer. I'd be retired now playing baseball with all my buddies that are all retired from being policemen. There's a couple things that, that I think that are very important for you all to remember, especially you gentlemen that came from other districts that are retired from other districts. Some of the children that you're going to see in the schools, they have mixed messages about whether police officers are good or police officers are bad. The impression you make on those children, especially the youngest ones, that's going to stick with them the rest of their lives. So you may be the first police officer they've ever come in contact with. So they're going to remember you probably for the rest of their lives that you were the police officer that they came in contact with. So I urge you to try and form bonds with those children in the schools. I know that the chief will tell you that a lot of the problems that we have in the schools that the police need to be involved with comes from the children, the students that'll come up to you in the schools and they'll let you know something's going on if they feel that they can trust you. But it's very, very important that you make a great impression on these kids because they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives, as I said. The other thing that, and the chief mentioned it, when I was a police officer, we never went into a building that was dangerous without backup. I mean, you just didn't. You all have a very special, situation. I mean, you're not going to be able to wait for backup. In all of our elementary schools, there's only one officer. I know in the middle schools we have two, and in the high schools, some of the high schools have as many as three. But if you're in a school by yourself and there's something terrible that's happening, everybody in the world is going to be expecting you all to go down that hallway and, as the chief said, and try and take care of business to save those children and those teachers and staff members from any kind of harm. So you have a special situation you have to deal with, and I give you all a lot of credit for being willing to do that. Before Marjory Stoneman Douglas, the biggest concern that, I've been on the school board for 12 years, so before Marjory Stoneman Douglas, the biggest concern that parents had is, which teacher they were going to have and, which classes and which school they were going to get to go to. After Marjory Stoneman Douglas, the biggest concern that parents have, besides the COVID situation, which eventually will, hope to God, go away, is whether or not their children are going to be safe and whether or not there's a police officer that's going to be there to protect their kids. So you become, in a lot of parents' minds, the most important person on that campus. So just keep that in mind. I was at every year the school board meets with the local state legislators that represent Palm Beach County area. And I remember a couple years ago, one of the state senators, who was right after Marjory Stoneman Douglas, one of the state senators said to me, Mr. Barbieri, how can we be convinced that your police officer is not going to stand outside while kids are being murdered inside? And I said, because our police officers are going to bond with those children, and those children are going to bond with that police officer. And those kids are going to be expecting you to come in there and help them. And you know that you've got those kids in there that know your name, and they're going to be expecting, you're going to be expected to go in there. And so that bond is very important. And that's why I told the state senator, there's no way our police officers are going to stand outside. They know those kids. They know those kids are waiting for them. So I want to congratulate you again for coming to a great department. We actually stole two of the top leaders in this. I shouldn't say stole because you guys are police officers, but we stole the chief a couple years back from Jupiter, and then we stole the deputy chief from Boca Raton. I represent the Boca Raton district, so I've been told by the mayor that I'm not allowed to talk to any of the other police officers in the city. But you came to a great department led by great people, and again, on behalf of the entire school board, I welcome you to Palm Beach County School District.
Thank you, Mr. Barbieri, and as always, we appreciate your support. As we get ready now, we're going to take your oaths of office, and I say oaths plural because there's two oaths of office that we're going to take. The first is the law enforcement officer's oath of honor, and it talks about integrity and character and public trust and having the courage to hold ourselves and others accountable for our actions. All those things that are so important, especially nowadays, especially with everything that's going on in the world. And one thing I want you to note is that while I'm giving you this oath, I'm raising my right hand. And I'm promising you that I'm going to do all these things. You're promising me that you're going to do all these things. And together, we're promising everyone here, our department, our community, that we're going to do those things. The second oath is what I call the oath that gets you paid, and that's the official oath of office. And then once we do that, we'll move into to putting the badges on your uniforms, okay? So let's start out first with the law enforcement oath of office. If you would, raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve, so help me God. Outstanding. Put your hand down. Okay, guys, this next one will get you paid. This is the official oath. So I'll say I, you say your name after that, and then we'll move right into the oath. Are you ready? Okay, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida. That I will enforce the laws of the United States and the state of Florida without personal bias. And that I will well and truly perform the duties of a police officer for the school district of Palm Beach County, Florida, on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Outstanding. You can put congratulations, guys. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to present you with your badges, or for my New York colleagues, your shields. Please note that when we present this to you, this badge is shiny. There's no tarnish on this badge. None whatsoever. We always keep this badge shiny. It's our job. We owe it to the community that we serve. We owe it to our colleagues. We owe it to every person in this country that wears one of these. Okay? They're very important. As a little added insurance, we're going to pin it on. Some of you have family that will pin it on for you. Some of you will have other officials pin it on for you. But the reason we do this first, we pin it on first, is because I want you to remember who put it there first, and what it means to you, and what it means to the person that put it on your uniform for the first time. Okay? So we'll be presenting those to you. I think you're going to call them up in order here. I'll give this back to you, or am I? Go first. I'm going first? Okay. All right. Let me get my, okay.
Officer Daniel Callow.
I think that's you right there, right? Okay. Thank you for choosing us.
Thank you for giving me the chance, Chief.
I'm going
Thank
to
you.
try not to stick you with this.
That's all right, Chief.
I'll do the best that I can. Haven't stuck anybody yet.
I'll maintain my
But-
discipline if you do it, Honor.
Thank can't stand these uniforms without a badge on it. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Officer Norris Fuse.
You doing all right? Everything going okay?
Doing good, sir. How you doing?
Good.
Officer Isaac Hawthorne. Officer Richard Jacobson. Officer Jordan Leginniger. Officer Olivia Morris. Officer James Moss.
Okay, guys, congratulations. By the way, I thought somebody was going to do the wave over there with all the clapping and everything, so it's nice to have that. Before we close out, I want to take just a second. First of all, I want to acknowledge Mr. Ed Tierney, who's our Chief of Staff for the school district, who came down today. If you think our schedule is busy, you should see his. Thank you for coming today, Ed. I appreciate it. And I do want to acknowledge two very important people. One is my Deputy Chief, Dan Alexander. Dan? In the previous life, he and I worked together as police chiefs on opposite ends of the county, and Mr. Barbieri's right. That was a real coup when we were able to get him over here, so thank you for coming. And then our Personnel Director, Lynn Powell, is back here as well. Lynn, we were able to get Lynn from the State Attorney's Office, who was the chief of the Juvenile Division. So, we talk about hiring over 180 new officers, and I couldn't be more impressed with the caliber of people that have chosen to come to work here. It really speaks volumes about our department. It speaks volumes about you personally, the fact that you're willing to do the things that need to be done. And so, the big roar that you heard a little bit ago, that's a tradition of law enforcement and family back here as well. And I can relate. My brothers, my fathers, my sister, my wife, my nephews, all of them are in this. And so thank you for all that you do as well. And this is a real collaboration. And we may work in the schools, but we rely on these folks every single day to help keep our kids safe. So thank you all for everything that you do as well and for being here. Thank you. Okay, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and close unless there's anything else that you need me to do. For anyone that needs pictures, they can get pictures taken up here. And so thank you all for attending today. Thank you for taking the time to be here, and welcome. We couldn't be any more proud, and look forward to great things with you guys. Thanks again, and I appreciate it.